Hi, I'm Jeff, and welcome to another one of my videos where we take a look at all the new comic books coming out on either November 28th or 29th, 2023, and I ask myself the question, what one new comic book would I buy this week if I could buy just one book? Let's get right into the content of this video, first by taking a look back at my pick from 2 weeks ago, which was The Deviant, issue number 1, and the question remains, was it a worthy and worthwhile pick to be my just one book pick of the week? And the answer is yes. I would have guessed that it was going to be yes because it is a book by my guy, James Tynion IV, and I'm not surprised that once again he delivered. I thought it was really, really good. I have to admit that it didn't necessarily grab me or excite me in the way that a lot of his books do, but it was solidly good. It was solidly engaging, and I'm solidly going to buy the entire run. I believe it's 6 issues, because I am interested in knowing what is going to be happening in this story and what's going on. It's intriguing, it's entertaining, it's engaging, it's all the things that I like out of storytelling in general, but especially in my comic books. So yes, I would say that The Deviant was a worthy and worthwhile just one book pick for 2 weeks ago. If you read The Deviant and you'd like to share your thoughts about it, I'd love to read them down in the comments. All right, let's go ahead now and move forward and talk about the books that are coming up this week. As always, I have my honorable mentions, and then I have my just one book pick for the week. My first honorable mention is a new book. It is Titans, Beast World, issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series from DC. Basically, the Titans are tackling a problem, and it's a problem that only Beast Boy can solve. It's very complicated, the description's very long, and there's a lot of stuff going on, but suffice it to say, it's a Titans-themed event that is taking place in the DC universe of comics, so this will be spilling over into other titles in the DC publishing universe. But it's a Beast Boy kind of focused one. So if you're a Titans fan, if you're a Beast Boys fan, if you're just a big DC fan, these are all reasons you might consider picking this up this week because this kicks off this upcoming event. The next book I want to tell you about is another new book. It is Batman 89 Echoes, issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series from DC. Basically, this takes Michael Keaton's Batman from the Tim Burton films of 1989 and then the sequel that afterwards, and does another comic book adaptation of it. In this one, Batman is missing, MIA in Gotham, and the citizens are doing their best to fight crime for themselves. No surprise, a lot of them are getting hurt in the process. So everybody's wondering, where's Batman? Well, I guess that's what this story is going to answer. This is interesting for people who might be fans of Michael Keaton's Batman, and I totally understand if you were. It's a very, kind of unique version of Batman that was extremely effective. But also I will mention that this comic book is being written by Sam Hamm. Sam Hamm is the screenwriter of the 1989 Batman movie. So there's a nice solid pedigree when it comes to the Batman 89 character. So if these things interest you, here you go. The next book I want to let you know about is another new book. It is called Vectors, issue number 1 from Scout Comics. Basically, some astronauts went into space 50 years ago, disappeared, and then 50 years later, came back down to Earth and hadn't aged at all. And everybody's like, what's going on here? This is not necessarily a unique plot or story. I'm sure we've all seen something very similar to this kind of thing, maybe even this exact kind of thing. But this exact kind of thing works for me. This is the kind of sci-fi that I find interesting. So it was interesting enough for me to at least mention it to you as an honorable mention. I am not going to be picking it up this week, but like I said, it's the kind of sci-fi that I'm like, oh, that's interesting, so I thought I'd share that with you. The next book I want to tell you about is another new book. It is called This Little Piggy, issue number 1 from Scout Comics. Basically, there's a group of werewolves that staple pig masks to their faces before they go to hunt this woman, Abigail, and her family. Problem is, one of the werewolves has a crush on Abigail and has to navigate the situation when they're hunting with their fellow werewolves and it's somebody that they really don't want to kill or eat. They want to hug and kiss, I guess. So this could be an interesting story if you're a fan of werewolves and or romance. So I mention it this week to all of you. The next book I want to tell you about is another new book. It is called Nadia and the Nomobots, issue number 1 from Opus Comics. Basically, the premise of this is that society is run by robots, and robots don't have emotions, and they want emotions. So they get emotions in pill form. Well, human beings still exist, but they basically exist to serve the ruling robot class. And one of the ways they serve the ruling robot class is by being a source of emotions for these pills that the robots take. But then one of the robots rescues a human from this pill factory and learns that humans are more than just emotion providers in pill form. I don't think I did a great job describing the plot, although I think I did an okay job. I don't think I did a good job expressing just how interesting this actually sounds, at least to me. There's just something about it that is resonating with me and is of interest to me. Now, I am only planning on buying one book this week, and it is my just one book pick, and we'll get to that later on. But I might pick up Nadia and the Nomobots as well, because it's a light week for me, and because this one actually is kind of in its own weird way, you know, intriguing and triggering me in a positive way. I might go ahead and pick this up. So it was definitely one I was going to mention to you, and I'm mentioning it with a little extra caveat of, although I'm not currently planning on getting it, of all the honorable mentions this week, it's the one that I'm like, maybe I will pick it up. The next book I want to let you know about is another new book. It is called Crave, issue number 1 of a 6-issue limited series from Image Comics. So basically, this is about a hookup app that makes all your dreams come true, and it spreads amongst students of a university who use the hookup app. But as requests to the app escalate and wreak havoc on campus, David and his friends' only chance to stop this spiral is to find out what really lies behind Crave. That's the plot. The plot might interest you, you know, if I did a pretty good job explaining it. Maria Lovett might interest you. She does a lot of stuff, I feel, in this kind of like romance genre of comic books, or possibly these covers are going to interest you. If any of these things or all of these things interest you, I wanted to make sure it was on your radar. The next book I want to tell you about is another new book. It is called Assassin's Creed Visionaries, issue number 1 of a 4-issue limited series from Massive. Basically, it says right here, the Assassin's Creed franchise was created over 15 years ago. So, what better way to celebrate it than to give renowned comic artists complete creative freedom to share their own personal visions of Ubisoft's hidden blade-wielding, parkour-running, century-spanning Assassin's Creed. So basically, this is just Ubisoft, who makes the Assassin's Creed game, has given comic book creators creative freedom to tell whatever Assassin's Creed style story that they would like to. They can create their own Assassin's Creed characters to tell their story. There's 2 stories per comic book in each one of these 4 comic books that are going to be released in this series. This is not the first time Assassin's Creed as a title or as a concept has been in comic books. It is likely that these characters, everything is going to be new and fresh, is not going to be canon. We might be in kind of a Star Wars Visions kind of situation where, go ahead, tell her any story you want, but it's not canon. That being said, you never know when this non-canon stuff might flip into the canon category. So if you're a big fan of Assassin's Creed and you just want to read more stories about it, here you go. Or if you want to potentially spec on all the new characters that are going to come out of this that might become something down the line, probably not, but maybe, then I wanted you to have it on your radar. The next book I want to let you know about is another new book. It is X-Men Blue Origins, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. Let me read some of the description for you. You think you know how the beloved Blue Devil came into this troubled world? You think you know the tale of his mendacious mama Mystique? You don't. Mother and son reunite in a mold-shattering tale that exposes secrets held for decades and redefines both characters forever. I like Nightcrawler a lot, and it sounds like the plan with this X-Men Blue Origins is to give you information about the definitive origin of Nightcrawler. That is good. That is cool. Like I said, I like Nightcrawler. I'm tempted to pick this up. I'm not going to. Part of what's kind of pushing me back from this one is that I wish this Nightcrawler story that was like the definitive origin story of Nightcrawler had him on the cover, not in a Spider-Man suit. I know that's what's going on with him right now, but it seems like bad timing for me as a fan to really get excited and interested in this. But it doesn't mean it's not going to be good. It doesn't mean it's not going to be worth checking out. Hence, me putting it on your radar. The next book I want to tell you about is another new book. It is Amazing Spider-Man Gang War First Strike, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. So, in Marvel Comics, all the bad guys, the gangs, are having a gang war, as this gang war title implies. This is the prelude to this gang war. So if you are interested in this gang war event that is taking place throughout Marvel Comics, you want to start here with this book right here. So basically, the bottom line is if this event interests you, here's the book where you should start. And indeed, if it does interest you, there are opportunities to continue reading stories about the gang war this week in this Luke Cage Gang War issue number 1 that is also coming out this week. And then there's also this Spider-Woman Gang War tie-in that is coming out this week. So lots of gang war stuff to check out if you are so inclined. The next book I want to tell you about is another new book. It is Howard the Duck, issue number 1 from Marvel Comics. It celebrates this 50th anniversary of Howard the Duck in this all-new one-shot. That's basically all you need to know if you're a fan of Howard the Duck at all and you want to be part of the 50th anniversary celebration of the character. Well, here you go. This is also written by 2 people. 2 people are listed here as writers. One of them I know very well and is known very well for his writing on Howard the Duck, and that person is Chip Zdarsky. I'm a big fan of Chip Zdarsky. Chip Zdarsky wrote a Howard the Duck run that people were very much enjoying. I never read any of it because it was before my time, so to speak. But Chip Zdarsky's great. I could see him being amazing at writing a Howard the Duck book. And here's more of that this week. So if you're interested, check it out. The last honorable mention that I have to mention to you this week is another new book. It is Berserker: Fallen Empire. It's a one-shot from Boom Studios. So Berserker, written by Keanu Reeves and Matt Kindt, was a phenomenon. It sold tons and tons and tons and tons of books, mostly because of Keanu Reeves and people's interest in supporting him and checking out something that he is writing. Also, Matt Kindt is fantastic, so the writing department was great, and it proved that it was great in the storytelling of the Berserker series. The Berserker series was quite entertaining. It was better than I had anticipated that it would be, and I did enjoy it. Well, the concept of Berserker in and of itself is a good one because it opens itself up to telling tons of stories about this main character who was immortal, who lived through all of these different generations. You could tell a story about him from any generation throughout history and probably have a pretty cool and interesting story to tell. Well, that's what they're doing here. This Fallen Empire takes this B character from Berserker and tells a story from his time on the timeline during his very long life. If you enjoyed Berserker and you want more, you can basically check this out this week. I will mention, however, that Matt Kindt is not involved in this title. Keanu Reeves is back writing, but this time with Mattson Tomlin, who I don't know off the top of my head. those are all the honorable mentions. That brings us to the one book that I would buy this week if I could buy just one book. And that book is Something is Killing the Children, issue number 35 from Boom Studios. Here's the short description. Erica's heartbreak in the wake of tragedy turns to rage as she faces Cutter one final time. But who else will fall at the hands of the Order? And how will things change for Cecilia and the House of Slaughter? But who else will fall at the hands of the Order? Who else will fall at the hands of the Order? There is something in this book that is going to be happening. Now, I want to quickly say that I'm a big fan of Something is Killing the Children. It's my favorite comic book out there. I'm tempted to make Something is Killing the Children my pick every single month when it comes out. But oftentimes I don't. I curb it because I know that a lot of it is just my personal excitement. Making it my pick this week is not just due to my personal excitement, and it's also not just due to the fact that I only plan on buying one comic book this week. It has to do with the fact that this is going to be a good issue of Something is Killing the Children. Not only is it the end of this 15-issue story arc, so you figure it's something, of interest is going to be happening. We've been building up to an Erica versus Cutter confrontation for basically 15 issues, and now we are going to get it. So that's really, really exciting. I actually read today that somebody posted in one of my Facebook groups that make sure you read Something is Killing the Children 35 as quickly as possible, because it's going to be very difficult to avoid spoilers for it, because people are going to be talking about it. So this was somebody who shared their excitement and interest and gave a proper heads up without spoiling anything, which I appreciate. I also know that James Tynion IV at one point said that he cried as he was writing the script for this issue. So some kind of character, something happens to some character that's significant enough to a character that James Tynion IV himself is emotionally invested in, that he cried in the process of writing it. It's a great title. It's the end of an arc. Something significant is going to be happening in it, apparently. So there's spec potential there. It's not the best time to jump into Something is Killing the Children if you've never read Something is Killing the Children at all. But if you're interested and curious and just picking up potentially a book that might have a cool story and some spec potential down the road, I have to say that all of this is the reasons why I made Something is Killing the Children issue number 35 my just one book pick for this week. Okay, that's it. If you like this content, likes are really appreciated by me, so I please ask you to hit that like button. And if you haven't already subscribed, I would invite you to go ahead and do so right now. Thank you all so much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.